This video today is going to focus strictly on the rhythm function of the RC-300. So let's start out by talking about the relationship of the volume between the rhythm and the volume of the playback channels, the memory channels, track 1 and 2 in this case. Let me start it off, and we can adjust the proportion of the rhythm with this level knob here. I'll turn it all the way up, and I'll turn it all the way down. So the first thing we discover is that we can turn the rhythm off with the rhythm level. That's one way to do it. I'm going to show you several other ways. Now, what should happen if we are playing and we just can't get the right proportion we can't get the rhythm high enough in proportion to the memory? The first thing we can do is we can bring the playback levels on these sliders down and bring the master up. Now what's going to happen is that our track memory playback is going to be lower, so relatively speaking this is going to be higher in proportion. Let me show you that. So now we can bring that up to a very high level, and you can hear that in proportion it's much higher. The drums are stronger than they were when these were set higher. So I'm going to center these again. I'm going to show you something else. Let's come over here to the track edit and push the track edit button, and then we're going to step over to the playback level, which is here. Now if I set these right now, you see that it tracks. If I move the knob over here, the fader, you'll see that it tracks the fader. So let's set it in the middle, which is 100, and then let's manually set it down to 80. And then we will come over to our track 2 and we will set track 2 down to 80 as well. Now I'm going to save this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to another memory location. I'll come over here to say go to memory location 23, and now we're back. So now it loads all the parameters on our previous memory location back in. And if we had set manually, we had set these down to 80, even though these are set in the middle at 100. Let's see what happens when we play. So what happens is that it remembered that those were set at 80. So if I come over here and hit my edit, step over and verify, sure enough it's still set at 80. But now let me show you something. The second that you touch this knob, it's going to overwrite that volume. I'm just barely touch it here, and you can see it jumped to 100, which means the middle. I'm going to go to track 2. Same thing. It remembered that it was at 80. But remember that once you touch this knob, that overrides whatever setting you had. But just out of convenience, if you didn't want to set these down for a particular song, you can set these volumes, you can program the volumes to a certain level, and that will affect the relationship of the volume of the main tracks to the volume of your rhythm, which is quite helpful. If we want to turn the drums off, as we just saw, we can turn the volume of the rhythm all the way down, the rhythm level all the way off. Bring the master down here so it won't be quite as loud. But there's another way of doing it. Let's bring the drums back in. You'll notice that when I bring in a song that has the rhythm track programmed, we get these flashing lights. This one right here is a standby light. That means it's ready to go. This one over here is actually showing the beats per minute, and it flashes red on the first beat per minute. So if we press this button here and turn off the standby, when we start the song, the drums will not play. Turn it off, and it's still not on standby. So until we press this again, put this back. Now what's funny is when you press it, you're auditioning the drum sound. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. So you turn this on, you're auditioning. So what I do is I just start this and stop it. Now we're going to get into a couple of techniques of controlling the drums that are a lot more sophisticated and versatile. If we come over to our memory edit button, press it once, twice, And then what we're going to do here is we're going to program our expression pedal to control the drums. Okay, that's what we're going to try to do. So here we are at assign 1. Let's come over to assign 2 because that's usually what the expression pedal is set up for. So here we are, assign 2, it's on, that's fine. It's already set up to do something different. It comes defaulted to set up the playback memory from an external pedal. So what we want to do first of all is we don't want to control the playback memory, we want to control the drums. So let's step through here, and I went into the right, that didn't work. Let me go to the left, now I'm having more luck. It says rhythm pattern, rhythm level, rhythm output. Okay, so let's do rhythm level. Now we want to step over to the next location. Its target is minimum, that sounds cool. Target maximum is 200, which is maximum, that's cool. Now we come over to the source, the expression pedal, and it says expression 2, but you notice that this says expression 1, so that's not going to work. That's an external pedal. So we just bring the knob all the way over to the left, and we have expression 1. Now we have set up our expression pedal, built-in expression pedal, as a rhythm volume pedal. Let's come over to see if there's anything else we have missed. To step over one more, it says momentary, but even though that might not sound right, that's the correct setting. So now we're over into assign 3, so we're definitely finished with assign 2. We want to write that to memory. Okay, let's give it a road test here. Let's crank it off. There are the drums going. I'm going to bring this volume pedal back and listen to the drums. Drums are out. Drums are in. So now, in combination with those volumes that we talked about, you can control your rhythm pattern, the volume of your drums on your playback. Okay, I just had to go offline there for a second to do a little bit of experimentation to see, to find another rhythm pattern that we can switch between that makes sense. The current rhythm pattern is clicking here on the rhythm edit button, we see as a shuffle 2. So that was a shuffle 2 pattern that we were running. I'll exit that, come over here and hit memory twice, memory edit once, twice. Now we're into the assign. It's on, that just means that it's active. And what we want to do with the assign target is we want to control the rhythm. So I'm turning to the left here. Oops, now I'm into my rhythm. Perfect. Okay, so there we are at our rhythm pattern. That's what we want. We want assign 1 to control our rhythm pattern. So let's go over to the next one. We start off. Unfortunately, it doesn't remember where we were. It starts off at the first choice, which is simple beat 1. So we're going to have to go all the way up, and that's why I wanted to check to see where we were. And we had a shuffle 2. Let's find that. Shuffle 2. All right. So that's going to be our first. It says minimum and maximum, but anyway, it's choice 1, choice 2. So that's going to be our first choice. Now our second choice is going to be, let's see if we can find shuffle. Let's try, that was shuffle 2 for the first choice. Let's try, say, shuffle 4. And that's what I was doing, is just experimenting a little bit with seeing which 2 patterns I want to switch before. This would be good for more of a break of a song, or kind of when you get into the middle of the song if you want to add a little bit of emphasis to the drums. Now, expression 1 pedal, well, this is the loop FX pedal, and this is not the expression 1 pedal. This is the expression 1 pedal, and we want to assign it to this. So we've taken assign 2, which was assigned to expression 2, we've changed it to expression 1. We're going to take assign 1 and we're going to use the loop FX pedal. So let's find the loop FX. I'm going to start off going to the left here, and this is all the way to the left. So let's go to the right. Oh, loop, the next choice, loop FX pedal. Perfect. Okay, so now we go on to the next one. Momentary. Well, here's the thing. We don't want it to be momentary. What will happen is if it's momentary, when we press down, it will change the rhythm pattern as long as we have it held down, which is fine. When we release it, it'll go back. But what we really want is we want to toggle, so that when we press it, it goes to the other the other pattern, and then when we press it again it returns to the first. So we want to go over here to a toggle. Let's see if there's anything else important here. We're on to assign 2, so that means we're done with assign 1. Write this. So now we have programmed our loop FX pedal to switch between 2 different drum patterns, and we have programmed it to toggle so that when we press it it'll switch to another pattern, and when we press it again it'll switch back. And then we have programmed our expression 1 pedal as our volume pedal. So let's kick off the tracks here. Now here we hear it playing with the original pattern, which is a shuffle 2. When we press this, it should shift into shuffle 4. Here we go. There we go. It shifted into shuffle 4, and we shift this back into a shuffle 2. And at any time, we can control the drum volume with this. So there we go. Now we have complete control over our drums. So now you've learned how to completely control your rhythm patterns, and the longer that you use the RC-300, the more you will probably discover the many features that it has. However, you always will end up with some trade-offs, because if you're using some of these resources to control one function like your drums, that means that they're not available to control other functions like your master volume or whatever. But anyway, I think that you have a good selection of choices, and I hope this has helped you, and we'll see you in the next video. You take care now.